everybody. Welcome to Band Advice TV and the Matt and Mark About Music podcast. I'm your co-host, Mark Allen V, and I am speaking with...
Matt Mason. How you doing, Earth Rockers?
Hey, Matt. How you doing, man? It's been a couple weeks. You hanging in there?
Yeah, I'm making it, just day by day, man. It's just always a different one. Always something different every time.
Well, that's cool. On my end of things, it's like exactly the same day over and over and over again. It's Groundhog Day. It's like, I swear, when the alarm goes off, I expect to hear Sonny and Cher blasting through the clock radio.
Yeah, this is strange, man. I'm just like...
It is.
But I'm honestly say I'm getting a lot accomplished, and I'm having a lot of good pure time to think and sort of figure out what's going to be next,
That's great. That's great.
And,
so
there's just some of these projects around here I just never have time for, if I'm going out there and playing all the time and stuff. And so I've been getting a few things done and getting the garden going real good and, making some music and just having a good little pause with the whole thing, even though it just sounds terrifying and scary what could happen. But, I'm trying to make the best of it, like I've been saying these last few episodes. Like, you got to turn the negatives into positives.
Yeah, definitely. So how are you weathering this without having that gigging income? Are you managing to get some revenue coming in through your live broadcasts and stuff that you're doing online?
Yeah, I've gotten a few things happening on there, and my Etsy shop's kind of trickling in there here and there. And, I'm still doing a lesson or two on Skype, or Zoom.
Oh, good.
Zoom, rather. And then, I'm just kind of like, they said my stimulus check should be sent tomorrow. So that ought to cover me, for a while. But still, man, I'm just kind of like, trying to plan out for the rest of the year what's going to happen. Because originally, I was going to be, hitting the road hot and heavy, going, in July to into September up to Alaska and back, playing up there and playing all the way back. And so, I just kind of like thinking, trying to book something like that right now wouldn't probably work too good. It'd be a lot of effort wasted. All the big guys are canceling everything now in the summertime. I can just...
Yeah. Bon Jovi just canceled their entire concert series. Wow, their entire tour.
The two big ones I'm waiting to hear when they're going to cancel is the Motley Crue and the Black Crowes,
Yeah. At some point in time, it's just going to... You just got to kind of cut your losses. You can only push things off so much. And, yeah, just... I really honestly think that this summer is going to be a wash, and that as we get into fall, hopefully some of these trials and vaccines and stuff that they're looking at can start to come into play by fall, so that we can kind of nip this in the bud then. But yeah, I see the summer, the next 3-4 months being pretty much the same as right now.
Yeah, and just in the interest of public safety, whether this is a hoax or not, you have to take it seriously, you know what I mean? And if people don't feel safe and they're not safe, then you can't ask 20,000 of them to come to a show,
Yeah, I don't think it's a hoax, though. We've surpassed 60,000. More people have died from this in the last 3 months than in the United States than all of the Vietnam War over 20 years. So Americans had this. It's just nasty, So anyway, let's just keep our fingers crossed that we keep on keeping on, and that this lovely technology called the internet is gonna continue to help us out here. So,
man, this is pretty sweet. We've been trying a few different things, and I think this might settle on something really good where, we can do this remotely from anywhere.
Yeah, it's just kind of let the viewers and listeners know. We've kind of tried the video conferencing using the Zoom platform, like a lot of people have done, which you can actually, the Zoom, you can record the stuff to the cloud and take it, pull your your video and your audio into your editing software and all that. Problem that I had with it at first was, of course, the audio quality. And, we're doing a podcast about music and being the better musician, and it's kind of having lousy audio quality. It's like, it just bothered me.
Yeah.
So then we try to go ahead and, like we currently do with our videos and stuff, instead of relying on the camera audio, we'll usually have microphones that go into my DAW. So we tried that, and you tried that on your end, and we had some success with it, but we kept getting knocked off. And the problem we have is that you're kind of out there remotely, so you're relying on your mobile hotspot, and unfortunately everybody and their dog is streaming stuff right now. So it's like, wow, the internet suddenly creeped to a halt almost, and I can only imagine what the internet providers are dealing with. So we're trying option 3 now. Option 3, we're going old school. I'm talking to you on the telephone.
Yeah.
What is that all about? And we're each filming ourselves with our own equipment, and we went ahead and did a little deal where we kind of clapped in unison to kind of sync stuff up. And then once we're done with this, you're going to send me your video that's got your audio track on it. I've got my video and my audio track, and I'm going to mash this together and do a little split screen, and we're going to make it work. And I think this might be the key. This might be the key.
Really cool, man. It's really
cool.
Well,
it's like it's kind of like the way the pros do it, though, if you really think about it, because back in the day when you had a remote interview and stuff like that, it was just they're communicating through audio. But the person that's remote is not necessarily seeing video because it takes bandwidth to stream the video. So they're just relying on listening to the audio, and then they're filming each section and they bring it together. And it's yeah. I think it'll work. And
pretty neat.
That way we're not trying to do this 2:30 in the morning when your bandwidth is up. So.
Man, yeah, and prime time. I noticed the speed of it kind of drops off. It makes it really hard to load stuff. It's hard to watch YouTube, whatever. But, the connection is surprisingly pretty good because I'm kind of in an odd spot out here where not too many services are able to make it happen out here. But I've just noticed since this pandemic, it's been really slow in prime time, especially on like Sunday, starting about 10 a.m. to about midnight. Boy, Sunday is really tough going. So, it's good. I mean, I'm sure everybody's logged thousands of hours in front of their phone in the last 3 weeks. And, it's good to go out and do something for real,
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And, this whole pandemic has really turned a lot of people that were hobbyists into pros when it comes to audio, video, and stuff like that. We're all learning a lot.
Well, it's forcing the hand of technology.
Sure is, and I think we're seeing a lot of innovation, a lot of MacGyvering, which is great. And I think when this is all said and done, that we're going to see some pretty cool stuff come on out of this. Some people have figured out some things that others didn't, and I know churches. I mean, I'm impressed with what my church has done. I mean, 6 weeks ago, which was the last service that we had in person. I mean, we decided to go ahead and shoot it on an iPhone, just so that the people that couldn't make it weren't there. And I mean, it was an iPhone video. I mean, it is. But every week they've gotten better and better, and now they're using what's that, open broadcast software, OBS.
Okay.
And so now they have multiple iPhones that are all synced into this thing, and it's actually this huge mixing software where they're actually doing all these really cool takes left and right, and text and camera angles and stuff. And it's like a lot of I was helping another friend of mine as he's working through his church stuff, trying to get this all to get you the best Facebook or YouTube feed out there. And we're getting a lot of really cool pros. And, and that kind of speaks to, what you and I have been talking about with the whole DIY musician. Now we got, the whole DIY video production going on. The DIY musicians have, we've had the tools of GarageBand and Pro Tools and all this stuff right here on our laptop, and have had the opportunities to not have to pay $200 an hour for a studio and still get the same quality. But it comes down to having to learn how to use the tools. Well, we got the technology and the tools now for audio video production, and it's the same thing. It's everyone's learning how to do it. So it's an exciting time. It really is.
Yeah, it really is, man, because it's forcing the hand of technology for musicians, and it's like, you got to figure, even when these clubs reopen, they're saying, every city seems like it's going to be different. It's going to be like 10% capacity, 20%, 30% capacity. Well, I know when they were running 100% capacity, music was a big expense for them. And so, the alternatives are going to, it's going to be come play for free or for tips to help us build our business. And it's like, so it's forcing the hand of doing something else,
Right.
And so, like, I'm kind of excited about it because, like, I said, when old Daryl Hall was doing his, he started doing the live at Daryl's house, I was like, man, pretty soon it's going to be like everybody's got their own version of live at Daryl's house, basically. And it's really like progressing that way faster than I thought, because I've already seen like some kind of little broadcast breakout box type thing. It's like broadcast on the internet from your home, multiple cameras, mix on the fly. You can add captions. I mean, it's just really, what a television station had in 1975. Your average person is going to be able to buy for however much money and probably have better quality this day and age. It's just unbelievable how technology's moving forward here.
Yeah. Well, that's what that OBS software is. It's free. It's open source. And you technically, you take your iPhone and you can plug it directly into your computer, just, through your typical USB cable. And if you've got a regular camcorder or digital cameras and stuff, you can plug those in too. And you've got this whole mixing console right there on your laptop. And yeah, it's crazy. And it's free.
Well,
and
the Switcher Studio thing I saw last night, it's like you can plug 9 devices in there, like iPads, iPhones, and then, you can mix it on the fly. So, how handy would that be to have 5 or 6 or 8 or 9 iPhones, shooting something at a church? That would be really cool. And then, you can either mix it on the fly or you can mix it, later as you go, I think. And I mean, the kudos to the audio-visual folks for stepping up and getting it going. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, yeah, we're going to see a lot more DIY stuff coming out of it. And I've been having fun doing the video production myself here, and cutting videos and releasing music that way, as well as contributing to our church feed with doing my own videos and stuff. And just having fun with lighting and stuff. You learn really quick about 2 and 3 point lighting, how important that is. And yeah, we're all becoming pros under fire, right?
Man, it's just like you gotta, necessity's the mother of invention. And it's like,
absolutely.
I mean, I've heard from some people, they're like, well, your live music career is over with. You might as well, get with the program that there's not going to be any more live music. Forget it. That's it. And I'm just like, I don't agree with you. It's just going to evolve and change in a different plane, And
I think that there's really some positives that can come out of this, because once people do start getting back out in public and we do start to gather more and we're not worried about catching something, I still think that you're going to have the necessity to offer this as an alternative, and not even as an alternative, but as another means of drawing people into your content. You're going to have your live show going on, maybe Friday night at the Mercury or whatever, and then they're going to live stream this thing online and sell advertising on it, right? It says, this week's live show brought to you by whatever. And so now people that don't necessarily want to go out in public can still participate. Now you have a revenue stream. You're getting the content out there. So, and I can see churches doing the same thing. They're people that just may be homebodies, may not be able to get out anymore, or just, I don't know. I just think that you have an opportunity now to reach a much broader audience and get those people that enjoy your message but just can't get to the place. So I think it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah, man, it cuts out like let's see the excuses of like, well, I don't go out late at night. I don't go downtown, east side, south. I don't go to smoky bars. I was tired. I was sick. It takes away all that shit for one thing.
Yep.
And they can either watch it, live, or they can watch it later, and that's pretty exciting to me because I think, it changes the dynamic between the fan and the performer when, they know they can get this on demand.
Yeah. Yeah. We are an on-demand society nowadays, and I can see this. Even think about like WSM and the Grand Ole Opry, which is kind of doing exactly what we're doing, right? Except that we have a video going with it too. But you have your live performances going back on the radio. It's that exact thing again, and now you get the opportunity to go back and listen to it again.
Yeah,
and just stream it. You could binge watch any of these concert performances from any of these venues. They have them all out there, and like I said, this is sponsored by, and this week's episode is from so and so, and you could even have your performers kind of do the little audio insert plug-in stuff too. It's like it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, I think.
Well, and what I think, it might evolve to at some point is like more of these live broadcasts with a limited studio audience in attendance,
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, well, maybe the pressure's not on really to sell out this venue. The pressure is on to really like be able to coordinate a good performance with a live broadcast in front of, 200 people who really want to be there rather than, 3, 4, 5 that just happen to be at some club some night,
Yeah. Definitely.
And,
it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's going to pare down the, I've just seen these theaters and these venues and some of these people are not reopening. They're just not. No. And so what that's going to do is it's going to allow other people with maybe other ideas and other ways of working to, take over some place that's been a live music venue traditionally and just turn it into a place where, you're more tied into the, the internet type deal and not so much on just operating on the ways that, a lot of those places operated before, you know what I mean? So it's pretty exciting if you ask me. It's like, it's going to cut the weak aren't going to make it. It's only going to be the strong survive, and that's the truth of it all.
Yeah. So, but to your point, I can see a lot of these former music venues now becoming broadcast studios. Essentially what that is.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's exciting, and man, more and more you and I talk about it, it's like, man, we gotta get a business plan together or something.
Something, I just think that like the idea nowadays is not waiting for David Geffen to advance us $250,000. I think the idea is to just hire a computer geek.
True that. And that's what I'm doing. I just launched finally launched a website for Mark V Music, and having some links up there. And one of the things that I learned is that when you're releasing a song, you can go ahead and say, "Oh, here's the link to my YouTube," or "Here's the link to this," or "Here's the link to that." You got your music on 10 different services. You start posting too many of them on Facebook, people are going to be like, enough of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have a landing page. So I've created this landing page now to where you post it and it sucks in the image. And then when they click on it, now, boom, there's all your choices. Do you want to go to YouTube? Do you want to go to Pandora or whatever? It's all there. So finally got that launched. And I'm actually seeing, because of that, I saw a pretty good uptick on almost every service that I have. So
groovy.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of things changing and just trying to figure it all out. So, but yeah, technology, loving it.
I
Well, then
mean,
we're gonna.
I just think back to those days when I was like 14 and I just wanted to rock. And I'm just like, it's so far away from that nowadays, but that's the way.
Yeah, but who would have
So,
thought? 20 years ago, the whole concept of a video phone, because remember, video phones, it's like, no, never, huh?
so crazy.
Who talks on we are talking on the phone for the first time. I think the last time you and I talked on a telephone together would have been 7, 8, 9 years ago. You just happened to be out in the garden and you called me one evening and we were just BSing or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the last time I actually had a phone call. The rest of the time is video chat. It's this or texting or FaceTiming and Zooming. It's like, it's crazy. Old Ma Bell's back in the saddle again.
Oh yeah, man! I'm telling you, it's just like I'm old enough to remember those, the home phone that plugged into the wall, and we had a rotary one upstairs and a push button downstairs, and it was. I just remember those days like that. And then some people out here that I've met around here, they're like, "Heck, I still remember when we had a party line. It was like 6 people down one road." They were all on one line.
Wow.
And so,
Nice.
if somebody was on the phone, you'd pick up and they'd be talking to their cousin or whatever. And you'd tell them, hey,
Nice.
listen, when you get done, Mabel, let me know because I need to call my brother, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, wow, I can't imagine that. 6 households on one phone line. Crazy.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of like the old Mayberry thing where you got the little switchboard operator there. She's plugging stuff in and listening in on the calls.
Man, and like,
That's crazy.
people made a living and a life just patching those 1/4-inch cables into that switchboard. I mean, it just amazes me to think about.
I know. It's insane. And just how much technology has changed since you and I have been born. It's like, you're talking about the old rotary phones.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we getting ready to sell my grandmother's house after she passed away, and my dad had to turn in the phone. Because this is back when the phones were still owned by, at that time, it was Southwestern Bell was the service up there. And it was hardwired. The phone was hardwired to the wall. It wasn't one of those where you could unplug it. It was hardwired. So Dad actually had to get a pair of scissors and cut the cord and take that phone in. It's like, what in the world? And then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, you can actually go to a department store of choice at the time. You could buy your own telephone and plug it into the wall. And then you could buy the super long extension cable so that you could walk all over the kitchen while talking on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
man.
wireless.
Yeah.
We totally blew my kid's mind. Totally blew my kid's mind today. My wife went to our daughters, goes, you realize that I am older than Google? What? And I go, on top of that, I'm older than cell phones. And my daughter goes, really? Well, what about flip phones? I go, a flip phone is a cell phone. She goes, well, flip phones are so old. It's like, yeah, I'm older than that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, well, yeah, technology. You're going to see a lot of innovation.
Well, you just got no choice whether to just embrace it or not. And it's just like, for instance, I'm like, if just communicating with other musicians, as far as like, hey, here's our set from the other night. Well, that takes a little bit of technology for everybody to be able to access the set from the other night. Because what is it? It's I'm sending it up to WeTransfer, and then you've got to go in there and have an email address and download it and have a place to download it to. And then, I mean, it's just, it's not like I'll run you off a cassette tape and drop it off your house, It's not like that anymore.
Yeah. What's been kind of fun watching is a lot of these people are doing collaborations.
Oh, yeah. Man, I watched.
Because they're making it look like it's all happening in real time, but in fact, they're all just doing exactly what we're doing. They're listening to it on their headphones. They're recording their parts. They're sending it in, and somebody's syncing it all up. Even like that thing that the Rolling Stones did, was it last week or the week before? And, Charlie didn't have his drum kit with him. So he actually was just pretending playing the drums. And, it was just all kind of synced up. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, we've got to do that.
I watched Sammy Hagar and his band today playing they were doing, what were they doing? It was an AC/DC song, Whole Lot of Rosie. They did that, and so I was I'm trying to figure out how they were playing all at one time, and it all came together and sounded great, you know.
Well, because they're not doing it live, so they're doing exactly what I said. Somebody starts it, they'll put out the track, they'll record the track, they'll send it to somebody.
I think it was
they'll
live.
Record... Really?
I think it was live, yeah.
Well, then they got a lot better internet connections than we do.
Right, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people are trying to make it all patched together to look like it's live. But, this is something that you and I could do, and I think we ought to, is, I'll sit down and record my part, send it to you, you record your part, use listening on the headphones so that you're not getting bleed over, and send that back to me, and then I just mash it up.
Right.
Yeah. We should try that. We should try that for next week, and we'll do a podcast on how successful that was.
All right. That sounds cool.
All right. Cool. All right, man. Well, you got any other tips and tricks or comments on the technology side?
Well, no, I'd say just, like I said, I've been having a good time just understanding and having a chance to slow down and like read and understand this next level of technology we're dealing with here. I just feel like if you leave it behind, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, it's moving a lot faster than it has before, that's for sure.
Sure is.
Well, right, so good talk. I guess until next time, though, I am your co-host, Mark Allen V.
And I'm Matt Mason.
And this is the Matt and Mark About Music podcast. Keep it real. Peace.